Okay, good morning, everyone. I wanted to somewhat talk about the topic I talked about earlier. Shout out to Principal Ali again. Also, shout out to Torian Rain Reloaded on his video about Principal Ali. I put a link in the description box of my previous live video. I have calmed down significantly since that video. I just don't like strikes, so y'all have to excuse me. But some of that goes into that topic. If you didn't watch the video, go watch it. And I encourage you to subscribe to Torian's channel. He puts out a lot of great content, I think, about every day on different subjects. But the consistent subject matter I notice is he goes in on strikes. He does talk about politics, and I admire his work. He has a really nice, well-rounded, comprehensive way of explaining things. I put Tariq's link there because he did bring up the topic. I do disagree with him on several points on the topic of Black women dressing like they have some sense when they are entering into the institution of education, picking up their children, dealing with teachers, principals, so forth. So anyway, this video is going to be about when older Black women sabotage your success. In my opinion, there are several types of Black women that sabotage your success. If you don't recognize these types of Black women, and yes, some of those Black women could have been like the mother showing up to their school dressed like a hot mess. Now, do I agree that there should be some kind of criminalization of those mothers or Black women in general? No, I don't agree with that. But it goes to a lot of self-reflection, understanding how you are viewed in the world, and adjusting accordingly, because life is about adaptation, adapting to survive, primarily. Women, we don't really have a lot of skills when it comes to that. We're not taught how to adapt appropriately, but we are still held to a certain standard, as we should. We're still held to a standard that says you need to present yourself in the right way, and we all know how to present ourselves the right way. So I don't want to hear anybody's bullshit about you going too hard on the women. I can do that. I'm a woman. I can go hard on women, and I do. Anyway, let me get to this thing because I ain't got time. Y'all know I ain't got time for mess. Let me get right to the point. Number one, a woman who has failed throughout her life, aka a struggling hag. A woman who does not have the wherewithal to see where she has made mistakes and adjusted accordingly. She's made mistakes, she's failed, and she has not identified why she made those mistakes and come to a conclusion about that to move forward. And so if she hasn't made the adjustment, how is she going to teach you how to make the adjustment? That's the first type of woman that I notice. Women who have failed throughout their lives and continue to fail. The second type of woman, as we all kind of know, is a woman who has a negative view of herself, aka an unattractive woman. You can make yourself unattractive by not having a positive view of yourself, not focusing on the strong points that you have to offer. That, in my opinion, makes you unattractive. You might not be that smart, but maybe you able to take direction well. Maybe you're able to listen when people are talking or giving you advice. So if you can't do those types of things, meaning that you're uncoachable, that can make you unattractive. Now, the next type of woman stems from the second. So number 1, woman who's failed. Number 2, an unattractive woman. Number 3, a woman who has been abused. Sometimes women feel unattractive because they've been abused. Physically, sexually, verbally, maybe through neglect. Maybe they themselves dealt with a narcissistic mother, or they dealt with hypergamy all around them, which is very common in this culture that we live in, dealing with hypergamy every day. That's a form of abuse, in my opinion, because it's not balanced with the other side, the other male side of rearing a child. And so the child is not being fortified properly. Number 4, a woman who has been divorced or married more than once. That is definitely a bad sign. When you deal with a woman who's been married a lot, or who's been divorced, or even not even married, a woman who's been in and out of different relationships and hasn't seen the value in herself. She doesn't have the ability to stand on her own, or she doesn't think that standing on her own is valuable. And when I say stand on your own, I don't mean stand on your own saying that you're independent, you don't need no man. I mean having your own identity. That's what I'm talking about. So that's a very critical thing, having your own identity, because if you don't have your own identity, you fall into what I talked about previously, another video, which is insecurity. Being insecure, not having confidence in yourself. Your self-esteem is shot, which the self-esteem being shot could come from number 1, number 2, and number 3. So you see how I'm connecting this. I hope everyone can follow me and how I'm connecting the dots. Number 1, a woman who's failed. Number 2, an unattractive woman. Number 3, a woman who has been abused. Number 4, a woman who has been divorced or married, more than once, or been in and out of relationships and just can't get right with her relationships. The last one I would say is a woman who has never left where she was born. A woman who has never had the audacity to travel, or maybe hasn't had the financial means to travel, has a very closed-minded sense of the world and criticizes others who decide to leave and explore the world and adapt to their environment as best they can. And these types of women that I'm talking about, it's in no particular order. It just happened to come out of my head when I was writing it down. I have my notes in front of me to keep myself, on track. But these women also do these things consciously or unconsciously. Sometimes they don't know they're doing it. And I think the women that are older definitely don't know they're doing it. It's become part of their identity, which is very sad, but it's a true statement. And before I finish up, I wanted to point you to some books or, some reading that would help in understanding this topic more. Nikole Ali has a book called The Black Man's Guide to Understanding the Black Woman. E. Franklin Frazier has literature talking about Black women in hypergamy, talking about Black women's relationships amongst each other, colorism, social norms that we accept in Black society. I can't remember E. Franklin Frazier's book right now. It's not coming to my head right now, but if y'all remember, you can put it in the comment section. I'll have to go find it. It's in one of the PDFs. The last one is Daughters of the Trade, which I'm reading right now. Very good book that's discussing how a lot of colorism was set up initially in a mercantilist society that transformed itself when slaves are transported here in the U.S. But a lot of it started from the mothers who accepted the marriage and accepted the a social step up by marrying the Danish merchants, and this was on the Gold Coast of Africa. So very interesting book. I am enjoying what I'm reading so far. I may do a review on some of the chapters of that book because I think it's necessary for us to do as Sheep Stay Sleep has said many times. Heal before we build. You know, check out his channel. He has great content. I don't come here to proselytize or recruit people into my ideology. I come here to present information, and hopefully people can take the information and do what they will with it. If you feel that something I said is wrong, you can let me know in the comment section. You know, if you really disagree with me that much, I can do hangouts, so it's not as bad for me to, you know, it's not hard for me to do that. Let me know in my email. If you want to use Gmail, it is nalibeauty777@gmail.com. So that's nalibeauty777@gmail.com. Yahoo is Nikole Ali 864@yahoo.com. That's NICOLEALI 864@yahoo.com. And I'll holler at you all later. I don't want this to go on too long. Thank you for coming to my channel. I appreciate it. Y'all have a great Friday, and I'll talk to you soon.